we've come to the fifth and final pattern from the Nua Collection Volume 2. This is the only shawl in the collection, and it was a lot of fun to actually knit. It's a nice, again, a dense shawl. It's knit and garter stitch in stripes of the two colours you can see here. Then you've got copple, which is the brown. Copple is brown, is horse in Irish. And the other one is frog on the wall, which is a really limey green. And so you've got the two of them striping as you go through. If I take it off here, I can show you the full. I'll move back a bit. It goes from this end here all the way across to this end over here. The whole shawl is knit in one piece, and the edging and everything are actually all worked at the same time. So you do that by you start in the tip here and you're increasing, and then as you come across here, the edge is worked as a slip stitch cable. And it's actually a really clever little way of doing cables in two colors, because you've got every two rows is in a different color, but when you've got the copple, the brown color, you don't work it, you just slip the stitches for the ones that are going to be the cables, which means that the cables stay as those green colors running along the top of the work. And the very same thing happens along the edge. You slip the stitches for the brown ones, and so you end up you work those I-cord edges all the way along. Now what you will find with this at an edge is that it's going to make it slightly tighter because you're not working all of the rows, but you just need to be careful when you're blocking it. Just stretch that as far as it'll comfortably stretch, and then the rest of it just forms the shape around it. Now in terms of how the rest of it is shaped, you have this along the bottom, and then just above it you can see there's increases worked all the way along here. So you've got that cable running along the bottom, increases across as far as here, and then you reach the middle part and you're just working straight across. And then you have the opposite. When you get to the other side, you just start working decreases in that same spot and you finish it up over here. So it's great because it's all done in one piece. It looks a lot more complex than it is because you've got this cable running over the top of the work that looks like it's something that's been applied on afterwards, but it's not. It just means that when you've got the brown ones in garter, you slip. It works particularly well over garter stitch because garter stitch is very vertically compressed. So slipping stitches in that particular one isn't going to have as big an impact as if you try to do it in stockinette stitch. So that's kind of an overview of the Birman Shawl. There's a couple of really nice tests out there that use some different colors. Somebody did one in two very similar colors, so it's a very subtle one. It's also something that would be absolutely gorgeous if you did it with instead of the brown in the background, you could have a graduated color going from one end of the spectrum to the other, and then just having a complementary solid that sat on top of it. So there's all sorts of possibilities of interesting things you can do with the shawl.